So and was social media a blue ocean strategy for you?
Yes. Yes, blue ocean, very blue. Facebook blue, Instagram blue, YouTube is still blue.
Yeah, agree.
Very blue. I just found out.
It is.
Right. And what helped me to identify blue ocean strategies was to find out what okay, I'm about to make a statement that may sound a bit philosophical. So don't need to try and understand, just let it sit with you. Okay. When I realize why I exist, which is to be helpful to people in the area of helping them create clarity and choices for themselves. This intention helps me to create blue oceans, helps me to identify blue oceans first. Right, so like in YouTube, there are a lot of things going on about, say, investments.
Yeah.
But none of them is about helping people to create clarity and choices. All of them are buy this, buy that, why you should buy this stuff, why you should buy that stuff. Like that. So yeah, I don't want to go too far. You let me know if I should go further.
Yeah, no, it's fine, right? So so basically your reason for trying out social media is really to find out, like, going to the blue ocean kind of space, right? Where obviously you can have more leverage, in terms of like, yeah, right? Because when you go to a place where there's no competition, literally the market share like is almost yours, right?
All yours, yeah.
Or even when you first start off, right? It's so much easier, as compared to a red ocean where you have 1,000 other advisors that are, doing exactly the same thing.
My
right?
gosh, yeah. When I first joined, it was red ocean all the way, man.
Right, all the road shows, no. I mean, you last time when you do all the traditional methods, right?
I mean, even my own colleagues are competing against me. It's stupid. Then how am I going to call them my teammates? Doesn't make sense.
That's true. And that's why so tell us a little bit about the blue ocean strategy, right? Like, what have you been doing on Facebook or even Instagram, given that the last 4 to 5 years you haven't really been using it, for business whatsoever?
Yeah. So now, what Facebook is for me is a place where I can reassure people. It's a place where I can create a safe space for people to go, yeah, like that. Because we are in a world of very rapid things happen very quickly. So we are very unsettled actually. If we really look at ourselves, we are often very unsettled. I remember on Monday, I said I want to feel less anxious.
Yeah,
it happens to me still. So at the same time, what Facebook has done for me is surprised me with, if I were to convert it to direct results, people coming forward to find out what is it I do. And another thing that I'm doing very interestingly is every time I close a case with a client, I will go to their Facebook. I'll go and find their group photo.
Okay.
I go and find those people who repeatedly happen to be in their group photos. And I'm sure the name is tagged somewhere in one of the photos. I go and click on the account, I go and find out what the person is doing. And then I ask the client, hey, you know what? I can help this friend of yours.
Referral. So you use Facebook. So in short, you go on every time you close a case or whatever it is, and then obviously you will definitely add friends with your client, right? And then from there you kind of like stalk the profile and see who are the people you usually hang out with.
CSI, right?
Yeah, and then from there, then you kind of like be more. So am I to say that you can therefore be very specific in asking for referrals, like, hey, I can help this particular person, and all that stuff.
I can even go into the detail of how I'm going to help this person.
Wow, that's impressive. Hey guys, so please, you hear this? This is one very underrated, almost unheard of kind of strategy. Okay, is to stock your clients' profile to see who are the people that you usually hang out with, right? And I mean, to be honest, right? I mean, if you really look at it objectively, usually when we the people that are on our Facebook posts, whether it's friends or family or whatever, are usually the people that we kind of hang around with a little bit more and people that we care more, right? I mean, for some of us would usually be our agency, right? Getting awards, and all that stuff. We usually hang out with them quite a bit. I'm not sure if you really care about them, but like, these are people that we hang out quite a bit, right? So Ben, like after you start, so I know that you've been posting pictures. You posted pictures at the start, right? Carousels,
Yeah.
and then you transited down to videos.
Yeah.
Right, doing a lot of videos. So can you share with us a little bit more in depth about sort of like the results specifically? Like what have you gotten? After doing all this, because I think this is where most of us will also want to find out, right? Like because everybody knows they say they need to post content, right? Everybody says they need to do online, but not everybody can kind of like see the results, and especially if the results don't come as fast, right? So yeah, so could you share with us, after you started to do this posting of content, things to educate and get clarity for people, what are some of the results that you attribute to because of the post that you've created?
Actually, what I've gotten so far are, clients wanting to invest more money, even though the market is, they're like, hey Ben, can put in more? No, I'm like, yeah, of course you can put in more. Okay, I'm very cautious when it comes to answering this question about results, right? Because for many years in this industry, I have built my expectations after listening to someone's results on some effort that he or she has put in.
Yeah.
And very often it leads to disappointment because that is what they are meant to do and not me. I'm meant to do something else. And because I let what they shared become my expectations, I thought that I should do the same thing as them. Only to find out a few years later that I've just spent a lot of time not doing what I meant to do.
Okay.
So
yeah.
What I'd like to suggest is be surprised. Do it and be surprised.
So Ben, I think here's the thing, right? Like, I think based on my experience with a lot of advisors, it's hard for them to be surprised, right? Because 90% of the time they are chasing after money because obviously because they have to foot their own bills, right? So
okay, got it.
yeah, so I think it's more of like, not really telling them like what they will expect to get, but more of like, what are some of these surprises that you mentioned about, that arises as part of this content.
Okay, I will share. But first I want to share something else.
Sure.
Find a way for yourself as soon as possible to stop working for money. Find a way so that you don't have to do this for money. I achieved that at a point I was, okay, got it, Dion. I made that this, okay. I didn't have, I was actually 20,000 in debt. And then I realized that actually to stop working for money is a decision. It's not, it doesn't necessarily mean I need to have money to stop working for money. It doesn't necessarily mean I have to have a structure. I realized that a decision is actually as powerful to stop working for money. And then my mind, so what happened was previously my mind is spent thinking on how to earn money. Then after that, I decided stop working for money. Right? My mind opened up. There's more space to go and figure other things out already. Other ways of prospecting, other blue ocean strategies that other advisors are not doing. So I just went and do your business. And there's a lot of money there to be earned. So interestingly, when I stop working for money, I have more money. Right. So okay, so in terms of the results that I've gotten,
So don't need to tell us about like the production, but I think like, you know, like are there people that reach out to you, catch up appointments and all that stuff? Yeah, in these areas rather than like, you know, in terms of production and all that stuff.
I have friends from commandos, I have friends from university, I have friends from secondary school on my Facebook, just reaching out to me and say, hey Ben, can you tell me more about what you do? Ben, I got this. Oh, I've been doing my own investment. Looks like you can do it for me.
Wow.
Can you do it for me?
Really?
You do lah, you do lah.
Wow. Oh, this is crazy. And is it because they watch your content, like and stuff like that?
Okay, so very interestingly, right? So those who sign up with me this year, I asked them, so is it, you know, my content that you anyway, I only started posting videos somewhere in February.
Yeah.
I asked them, okay, so you watch the whole thing, right? They said, no lah, I only watched the first 30 seconds.
First 30 seconds. Okay.
30 seconds. After that, I see you post something. Okay, lah, I don't go and watch. I just know you know what you're doing.
Wow. Wow. So what you're saying is that these people that approach you, they don't even watch the entire thing, but they watch maybe the first 10, 30 seconds and kind of get the idea that you know what you're talking
I'm
about.
confident. I know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Wow. That's a who here thinks that that's a first good impression that you can make on your prospect? Type yes if you agree. That's the first good impression that you can make. Power, right? Like right. Who thinks that's the first good impression? Come, type inside chat box. Yes, right. Right. Literally, like seriously, you know, they even watch the entire thing. That's a
Then my question to them is 2 words. Who wants to guess what is the question I asked them when they come to me? 2 words.
I don't know. Why? Dion says like
good guess. What else?
When start?
2 words. I asked them. Oh, meeting already. They asked me, okay, maybe I asked them 2 words. How much?
Wow. Wow, should we just ask like what's the amount? That's great. And guys, I hope you guys are saying something here, right? Because like as much as we are talking about content and posts and all that stuff, right? You know, the biggest thing is, you know, like what Ben mentioned, and even I myself will take this stand, right? Which is, you know, not every post that you create will get you a lead or will get you someone that will definitely buy from you. That will never be the case, right? It's not every time, right? I mean, if you look at Ben, if you don't mind, you type in your username and things like that in the Zoom chat on Instagram and all that stuff. So if you guys follow Ben, he didn't only post one post and then like, oh, you know, hope he gets lucky and get a lead or whatever. You know, he does it very consistently, right? And this is the reason why you know, he started to get this kind of results of people asking him, you know, out and learning more. Okay, so I think this is something important for me to touch on a little bit, because I do not want anybody here to like, oh, I post content means I'll get leads. The truth is you're fucking lying to yourself lah. Okay, that's that's the truth lah. Okay, because it doesn't just happen this way. Okay, but the more you do, the luckier you get. Makes sense, right? The more you do, the luckier you get, right? So this is fantastic. So Ben, I'm just curious, right? I myself, even when I was an advisor, you know, and even sometimes till today, every time I want to post something, I do have this and a lot of advisors do have this reluctance, right? Of like, hey, what if this time the thing I post, whether it's about insurance, investment, or whatever it is, might not have a lot of likes and comments, right? Have you experienced that before? And how do you overcome that? Because, you know, vanity metrics, right? You know, likes, you know, if they have a lot of likes, you know, you feel like you're rejected. You know, people don't really like your content. You know, how do you overcome that for yourself, Ben?
It was a very mental thing. After posting, looking forward to how many likes, right? Wow, how to overcome that? I'm already 36 years old, so I don't have that much time to get stuck on something lah. So what, you know, when I was 25, 26, I got the world to time to meet. I got a lot of it.
Yeah.
So to it's okay to dwell on it, and at the same time be mindful that you are dwelling on it, so that at least you will come a point in time to you will decide, yeah, enough lah.
Mm.
No need to dwell on it anymore. Just post lah.
Did it deter you though? Did it deter you when you posted something and you only get like 5 likes, right? Nobody commented. Did it deter you from posting the next post that you're supposed to do?
Initially, yes. So if it happened to me lah, initially, to be discouraged from that.
Right.
At the same time, because I'm at this age, right? Not a lot of time. So when something doesn't work, my next question is, okay, what's missing?
Mm.
What did I not do? What did I do? What did I not do?
Mm.
And then I go and see what others have done. I go to YouTube to watch other videos also. Then I realize that, wow, their value that they are providing. Of course, choose those that are not selling any courses lah.
Yeah. Hey guys, are you guys picking up these or not? Because I'm not sure if you guys are picking up these, but what essentially Ben is conveying this entire principle of every time when you face problems, and this can apply to all areas of our life, right? Every time you face a problem, right, do not focus on the problem as much as possible, but focus on having and finding the solutions. You know, how can it be better? You know, how can you get more people to engage and have a conversation with you, etc. Right? Yeah. So this I hope you guys are picking this up, because this is a real goal, and kind of like nuggets that that would really prove to be helpful, right? So Ben, so if that's the case, I don't know, like if I'm just curious, if somebody that is very senior in the advisory industry, right, like, you know, minimally 6, 7, 8 years in the industry, you know, and they come and ask you, hey, Ben, I saw they're doing social media and all that stuff, and I know social media is like, you know, the next thing that I might want to venture into, but what do you think? Should I go into it? You know, if a colleague do ask it, what will you say?
I've been waiting for a colleague to come and ask me this question. Okay, no one come and ask me this question. No, I really want them to come and attend your course, right? But no, they think they can handle it themselves. I'm like, okay, lor.
Thanks for the vote of confidence here, man.
I'm so excited to have them on board. No, but that's the thing. I saw it in myself as well, right? Like after the 6th year in the business. In fact, after the 4th year in the business, I thought I know a lot. I thought I know what works. So that mindset is a very self-limiting mindset. Yeah, when a student is ready. Yeah.
So Ben, so I think then now I think everybody, and I think this will be very, very useful for all of us moving longer in the business, where we have more success, more experience, and you know, more knowledge and wisdom of how things are like, right? How, you know, how do you put ego aside? You know, how do we put or you know, be humble and have the humility to say that, hey, you know what, these are things that I might not know, and I'm willing to learn, you know, maybe from someone that is younger, or you don't even know, you know, and all that. Well, you know, how do we do that? Like, to put the ego aside and really be willing to learn again.
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
So, you know, I think a lot of us being in this industry, we would have heard this quote, Christopher Columbus, right? Like, to discover new lands, we have to lose sight of the shore, right? But I felt that that quote itself is quite self-limiting because I'm setting an expectation that I must find new land by losing sight of the shore. Rather, lose sight of the shore and be surprised. Just be surprised by whatever comes your way. Wow, suddenly a lot of thoughts coming when I say that.
So,
okay.
so I think like the surprise things, right? Like,
yeah,
obviously when we talk about surprises and accepting, surprises that comes along the way, there will therefore have this element of uncertainty, right? And I think this is something that most of us, in fact, will be struggling with, right? When is the next prospect going to come from? How is the next sale is going to be like, etc. How do we get there? How do we overcome that?
Okay. Then I use this example. For example, I'm hanging out with a group of friends, and then they are talking about investments, and they are very, very knowledgeable about what they are saying. Oh, noted. At that moment, is there an opportunity? That's the question I yeah. I don't know if that came across. Okay. Like, imagine that you are in a group of friends and they are very good with investments. They talk about it. Do we see it as an opportunity, or do we see that there's nothing for me to talk to them? Hopefully they haven't bought their insurance yet. Because we are self-employed, we are business owners, we find opportunities, right? In that moment, how I identify what opportunities there are, I remember everything that they said. I go back, I use my CRM, which is basically my Google Sheet. I type out every single thing each one of them said, because inside there will be their goals, there will be their responsibilities, there will be their resources even. Then I go and look how I can help each of them. If I was in a group of 6 and all of them are super good with their investments, I got 6 appointments set up already, but just with this exercise.
Wow, guys, do you hear that? What Ben is saying is that 2 things, right? Number one, whether you see where you're in an environment, right? You can always ask yourself this question, right? Is this an opportunity or is this something that I cannot do, right? And all that stuff, right? But I think what Ben is saying is that we always look for opportunities, right? In Chinese, there's Wei Ji, there's opportunity in every crisis, right? So likewise over here, there's opportunity in every single thing or every single person that you meet, right? But I think the more strategic part, which really smart, is that he remembers, maybe he type it down in some notes or whatever it is, go back home, open our CRM, right? Open our CRM, right? And then start keying all the details and things about this person, right? Which brings me to this point that I want to elaborate also. I strongly believe that everybody as an advisor must have a CRM. Okay, I mean from a coach point of view, but you must have a CRM. Okay, because the real truth is firstly, you can't remember everybody and what they like or what they don't like. Number 2, more importantly, is that when you want to do follow-ups or when you want to catch up with that person again, at least you know what this person like or dislikes, right? Which is able to get you an advantage, in terms of the relationship. Okay, so especially for prospects that rejected you, because when you go back knowing that what they want and what they don't want and remembering about the conversation you both had last time, it's so much easier to reconnect, versus, hey, Mrs. Who and Who, happy Valentine's Day. Hope you remember me. When are we good to catch up? Kind of ridiculous follow-ups, which is not going to be most effective. Okay, and that's the honest truth, right? Okay, so this is something I think Ben, you raised up a very, very good point that I think everybody should have. Guys, can you see what Ben is doing? I think if you ask me personally, who here agrees that having a CRM, knowing what your customer wants, whether are they customers, clients, or prospects, also helps in longevity of the business. Yes, right? Because you're really going into really caring about them and being genuine, without any expectations. But obviously, deep down, of course, we want to close them. I mean, I think that's a given, right? But I think more importantly is to really care about them in ways that other advisors are not doing, right? So if I look at chat, I think yeah. So Julian raise up good things, right? Like opportunities, weakness of their strategies, strengths of their strategies, and how can both parties complement each other, right? And yeah, okay, so Julian is like, talking about Tesla, Apple, you got my man, all this stuff. Conversations, right? I think even a conversation is an opportunity itself, right? It really is, right? Yeah, so this is great. Dion is like Ben mentality. Yeah, opportunity or not is your own self-determined one. Yeah, that's exactly on point. Okay, so before you go to Q&A, because I think a lot of people are here dying to ask you questions and have you share your perspective, right? I would like to ask this favorite question of mine, okay, which is if you're to restart from year one, okay, in the industry all over again, knowing the knowledge that you have right now and the experience that you have right now, what would you have done differently? What is that one thing you have done differently?
What I would have done differently, I would have taken my time to
Wow.
produce.
Wow.
I
Can you
wouldn't have
elaborate about that?
I wouldn't have wanted MDRT. I wouldn't have wanted Achievers Club. I wouldn't have wanted to be on the list of producers, top 10 producers also. Yeah, I wouldn't have wanted a car. I wouldn't have wanted a house. Yeah, I would have taken my time to discover who I can be in this industry. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Holy shit. Guys, this is some serious goal. Okay. Hey guys, you need to understand he's 12 years in the industry. So the thing you say would definitely carry some form of weight, or if not more weight. Okay. Differently. Differently. Okay. He would have done this thing differently, which is take his time. Right. And I think most of us would, and I think this is something that is happening and it's very rampant, right, amongst advisors, where we're always rushing for awards. Right? We're always rushing to get the money. We're always rushing to earn more than 3K, 4K a month, because why? Our peers outside are earning that. Or the 8 to 5 job that we can have outside, we can probably be earning that, right? And therefore we feel this rush to, to earn at least minimum, if not more, right? Because if we don't, then the question to come to ourselves is, then we join this industry for what? We cannot be join this industry to earn 2K or 3K, right? Right? This is usually what we ask ourselves, right? And I think what Ben said, right, I think truly reflects this, right? And challenges this train of thought and this status quo, which is, why not? Why not come here and earn 3K? Because the trade-offs are, some of the other trade-offs are intangible, right? Like you have more time, right? You have more fulfillment even, right? But most of us, we only look at the tangible part of the business, which is the what? The money, awards, trophies, achievements, all tangible side, right? So I think, I would really and I think this is what we do and what we preach in our community in Do XYZ, right? Where obviously, the clients that we have, and I think some of them are here, you guys will know that it's true. I've never asked you guys to chiong for your targets and hit MDRT and COT. I've never done that. I've never said like, hey, you guys must wake up idea and faster finish your goal and buy all the things that you should buy. No, I always talk about, the mission that I have is always to have every advisor to be happy and purposeful, right? While earning their money, obviously, right? Because there's always more to, money than and more to life than just money, So I will really urge all of you, if you guys are going after your goals, by all means, please go for it. I think what's more important is this the thing that you want and are you happy? Right. I mean, if you guys look at what Ben has been talking over the last 1 hour, right? It's always less about strategies like sales and marketing, It's always about the bigger lessons in life. Right. And I hope you guys can really find value in that, because if you go out there right now, you go and talk to other advisors, your colleagues, and whatever fuck shit, They'll tell you, oh, do this prospecting, you close this case, blah, 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 right? But over here, we talk about things that are relatively different, which not a lot of people talk about, but I felt like it's one that, is much needed for advisors here. Okay, so thanks, Ben, for the questions. Okay, and for all of you, right? This is the time. I just want to ask you guys one question. Okay, like, are you guys finding this valuable so far? Yes. If yes, please type in the chat box, right? So they can give out encouragement to the Ben, and all that stuff. All right, Julian say yes. Great, yes, yeah, brilliant. Okay, guys, this is the exciting part. Okay, the exciting part now is that we probably think it takes 15-20 minutes or so. You guys can ask your questions to Ben or to me, whichever it is, right? But obviously Ben is the rock star here. Okay, so you can definitely ask Ben, right? What questions can you guys type in? What questions do you guys have for Ben, right? Just type inside the chat box, right? And we'll pick a few of them, right? And I'll get Ben to answer it. Okay, live straight to you. Okay, now please type in your questions. What questions do you guys have for Ben? That you feel like you want him to answer and want him to shed light on. Come, type inside the chat box.
I'm going to do my best not to be too philosophical.
It's okay, right? You can go that philosophical, and then I'll be here breaking down a little bit more.
Oh, yeah,
concrete,
please.
Right.
Okay, more relatable.
Okay, okay, cool. So guys, please type the rest of the questions. Okay, so Ben, the first question from Yixing. Okay, Yixing.
Yes.
Let me spotlight her. Okay, Yixing. Yixing is asking, right? How do you stay positive every day, Xia? Okay, how do you stay positive every day? Okay, how do you stay positive every day?
I am not positive all the time. I think that's okay as well. We are all human beings. It's a matter of how we manage our emotions. Like in my case, if I'm not feeling happy, right? It's either I'm frustrated, I'm confused, I'm anxious. Then what I do at that moment, so I learn along the way, right, that these emotions are actually a choice that I've already made. I chose to be frustrated. I chose to be confused. I chose to be anxious. And, okay. And I made that commitment that I will never stay in those emotions for more than 5 minutes. Right? So to deny these emotions is to stop being human, which is quite silly. We are all humans. We are given this emotion, so it's okay. And during that 5 minutes, I just let myself have those emotions and eventually ask myself, okay, how, when I become okay with these emotions, there will be a question that comes to me, which is, how is continuing to feel like that going to help someone else and myself? Or how is it going to help me help someone else? Then the answer is no, it's not already. Then it's easier, or the choice becomes very straightforward, which is enough. Move on. And then take action, help that person.
This is great, guys. And I think the underlying prerequisite in some sense, the thing that we need in order to really have the kind of questions that we can ask ourselves, just like what Ben has done, right, is really to be self-aware. To really be aware of what you're feeling right now. Because if you're not aware, like these are the emotions you're going through, you'll never be able to keep hold of it and decide what you want to do with these emotions, right? So I think the biggest one is really to be self-aware of your emotions. And like if you ask me, Yixing, I think no one can be positive like 24/7, right? But it's never a crime to try, because why not, right? Because why not? Okay, so I think I think this is something that I feel a lot of you need to hear, which is this, which is what Ben said, right? To deny yourself of the emotions, is not human, right? We are supposed to feel this way. We're supposed to upset ourselves, right? The more we deny the very fact that we are angry, that we are sad, the more these kind of emotions will come in a long time, because we're just suppressing, right, all these emotions, and there will come a point in time where it just, a trigger will come and then you explode, right? So let it come, let it go, right? And this is to break down a little bit on like what Ben is saying as well, right? To bring it more concrete too. Okay.
Yeah, what you resist will persist.
Agree? Exactly. And for those in a community, this is the reason why I send every single one of you the secret, right? Law of attraction. Like attracts like. If you're unhappy, you attract more unhappy thoughts, period. Right? And this is not some religious shit. This is what, I don't know. I can't remember which scientist discovered this shit. Okay, I don't know, is it Isaac Newton or whatever it is, okay? But like even with Isaac Newton, right, he says this. He says that for every force that's being produced, there's an opposite and an equal force coming back at you. So the more angry you are that you're giving out, the more anger you will receive back. This is science, right? Because this is the reason why your physics and all this comes into play. And this is also why we talk about things like karma, what you give, you get back. Makes sense. What you reap, you sow, the usual stuff, right? But these are real things that I feel we should really talk about as well. And I don't know lah. A lot of people would think that we'll send other gifts, but we send the secret, some law of attraction book to to advisor clients. Okay, but that's because I know what we are going through. Okay, hopefully, Yixing, we answer your questions. And Ben answer your questions. Okay, thanks Ben. Thanks Yixing for a question. Okay, so let's ask. Okay, next let's move on. Esther. Okay, this question is by Esther O. Okay, so Ben, the question here is this: have you ever felt burnout? And I think I'll add one more question to that, which is that how do you overcome that?
Okay, I felt a burnout very, very recently. Ben knows about it as well. So I was so excited to create new posts, right? I went to pay for apps, the programs. I paid almost $1,000 thinking that it will solve my problem in 1 minute. Just one click and I will have the post ready. And then I realized I had to figure it out, right? And I was like, at that moment, I felt very stupid. And that just happened a couple of months ago. So, so that's an example of burnout. I guess burnout is an experience of, I just want to make sure that I'm relating to you on the same context of burnout, right? The experience of, I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to do anything right now. Burnout like that? Like that, huh? Like that, huh? Okay, good. Okay. At that moment, what I do, I just don't do anything. The burnout happened for a reason. That's how I choose to look at burnout. It happened for a reason. I let it be. At the same time, I set a deadline for how long I will remain burnout for. And with the deadline, it helps me to recover from the burnout. And what's the best recovery from a burnout? Don't do anything. Don't think anything. Also. Don't feel bad about anything. Don't hold thoughts that make you feel. As in for me, I stopped holding on to thoughts, internal conversation of things that I say to myself that makes me feel anxious, makes me feel frustrated, makes me feel guilty. Right? Every day, every one of us, there's nobody who will complete every single task before they go to sleep every day. It's impossible. Right? And then I lost my train of thought. Guilty, right? So the guilt happens when I start to think, I should do it now. I didn't do it yesterday. I should do it now. And then I'm not doing anything about it. So I start feeling bad about it. That emotion over time, accumulate, burnout. So it's very important to just set a deadline. So during the deadline that I set for when the burnout will end, part of the recovery process is to identify what have I promised I will do and I've not done. And I set a deadline to all of it. Or there are some of it, right? I said, I'm not going to do it anymore. No more, enough. These things I will not do anymore. But then there are those things I promise others I will do. I set a deadline to it. And during the period that I'm resting, I go and tell them, hey, you know what? I told you I'm going to do it by this time, but I did not. This is the new deadline I'm going to settle it by.
Nice.
The response that every one of them, like every single one of them has given, right, is always, thank you, Ben. Instead of scolding me, instead of making you feel worse, right, they thank me. How not to recover from a burnout?
Agree. And I think this is something that even for me, right, it happens occasionally, right? Like for the burnout stuff. And I think more importantly, every time you feel burnout, I think like we mentioned just now, like a few minutes ago, right, is like for you, Esther, if you do feel burnout, right? I think more importantly is to really again just accept it that you just, because when you feel burnout, usually you lose all motivation to do anything. You just don't want to do anything. You just feel like you have so many things to do, but you just like, just don't want to carry on, that kind of feeling, right? There's 1,000 of things pulling you from different directions, right? And it come a point in time where you just feel like, hey, you know what? Screw this. I just don't want to do anything. And even as much as you try to do something, because you have expectations, you have goals, you have the to-do list to check off, right? As much as you want to do it, what burnout does to you is that it literally rob you dry of all this energy, right? And so firstly is identify that. Number two, once you identify it, there's different ways of recovering, right? For me personally, um, this is a clear sign that I should literally stop and rest. Very clear. Even though I might lose out on a couple of appointments, even though, right, I might lose a few $1,000s, right? And all that stuff, if I go for these sales appointments, sales calls, or whatsoever, right? I will still, if of course, obviously there's responsibilities that some of us might need to undertake, fetching our kids, grandchildren, or whatever it is, right? But with regards to the rest of the other things like work and all that stuff, as much as possible, right, let it go, right? Because it is the same energy, right? Imagine today you are driving in a car, going to another destination by 5 p.m., right? But then the question here, the problem here is that in your tank, in your fuel tank, is zero, right? And then there's two options. Number one, you continue to drive all the way to reach there by 5 p.m. without topping up any petrol. Or secondly, you go to a petrol station, top up your fuel, right? And then reach there maybe after 5, maybe at 5:30 or 6 p.m., right? So obviously, in this case, the latter will make more sense, right? To top out the fuel. Because if we deny ourselves of the fuel that is needed for our tank and we continue to drive, we'll never ever reach there in the first place. Right. So this is something that kind of like, to recover and look at. In my own personal experience, which happened maybe a couple of months ago, the burnout and all that stuff was because I was pushing for a lot of things to get done. I was pushing a lot of things to get done as fast and as much as possible. And then when I realign, and the reason why I feel burnout also is because these things that I feel like needs to get done ASAP or as much as possible will not align with myself and the goals that I actually want. It's like, for example, I said, okay, this year business, we want to do 1 million in revenue, right? But then I need to chiong 24/7. I need to care less about my clients. I need to get more sales and all that stuff. And then it's just not the most aligned, right? I get stress from there. Okay. So hopefully, Esther, we can answer your question. And if you get burnt out, Esther, just drop me a text, okay? I'll be there. Okay. Yeah. Nah. Okay. Cool. Okay. We are at 9:12. So let's take a couple more questions. Angeline. Okay, so Ben, let me see. Where's Angeline? Okay, Angeline is here. So Ben, Angeline has a question. And Angeline's question is, you mentioned that you want to help clients get clarity. As you mentioned just now, whether it's on YouTube, on social media posts, and etc. how do you define clarity, for your clients? Like, what do you mean by getting clarity?
Ooh, that's a very good question. So I don't know until I have done my fact finding. And every single one of my client, I help them create that clarity very differently also. So I don't have a textbook fixed presentation for every individual. I guess that's because I've been in this business for many years. That's why I'm able to be fluid in my uh, fact-finding process and proposal process, right? That doesn't mean that you cannot start now to learn to become fluid. And now that you know, I don't know in your agency if you have someone who is capable of being, like adjusting their presentation depending on the situation, depending on how much the prospect knows at that moment, right? But in this community, there's some people who are fluid. So if you have an appointment and you're going to meet someone and you want to know what clarity you can provide for this person, right? Why don't you, drop it in the Slack community, right? About give us an idea of who you are meeting and how much you know about this person. So at least we can suggest to you how to provide clarity to this person.
So for example, I think Angeline, if you are in our Facebook group, you can ask a question there as well. And I think Ben will be more than happy to answer. But I think more importantly, I think the point Ben is trying to bring across, right, is that clarity differs, to every single individual that you are talking to. Everybody has different things that they want to get clear on, right? And so in order to define how to get clarity for someone, it first starts off with asking them, what are they not sure of, or what are they, struggling with in the first place, right? And this is the reason why he talks about being fluid, which is, asking questions that get them clear, on the things that they want, right? So I think it is those aha moment whereby, if you ever talk to your manager or maybe the director, hopefully, when you are struggling, in a dilemma or something like that, or you're burnt out and all that stuff, and then like your coach or your manager is asking you questions, and then say like, oh, if you do this, then your option is just A and B. Isn't it just that simple? And then you get that, oh yeah, actually it's just like that only, right? The kind of epiphany, kind of aha moment. Yeah. And all these are only done through, like, if you know how to ask good questions for your prospects as well.
So it's like there are times, right, when I postpone an appointment to propose. I will tell the client, hey, actually, I am not ready to propose to you. Even though I've done quite a lot of fact finding, but during the process of helping them discover how to create clarity for them, I realized that, hey, actually there are a few more things that I haven't found out yet. And I will go and find out first, like that.
Great. Okay. So Angelina, hopefully we answer your question. And feel free to post in the Facebook group, guys. If you guys are in our 2XYC community Facebook group, okay, please feel free to ask your questions. Okay. So we end up with probably one more. So I think Dion asked a very interesting question, right? He asked, how we have, from your leader's perspective. So Dion, I'm just curious. What do you mean by your leader's perspective? Are you referring? Hello?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Can.
No, because I think one of the things that Ben pointed out at the start was like they gave you all the targets, all the different things to go and hit, but that was not what motivated you, ma. It's only after you go through your own like self-discovery, all these things, then you found out what was more important to you. So like from his point of view, what do you think he could have done to like help you discover all this stuff?
Get that wrong.
Okay, got it. Wow. Honestly, if not for the years of encounters I've been through, I might not have discovered what is meant for me also. So everything, so eventually it got to a realization, which is everything that happened didn't happen unnecessarily. And it's a matter of what I make of it at that after it happens, whether it was desirable or not. You know, especially the undesirable ones. It didn't happen unnecessarily. For example, during proposal, client doesn't want to sign, or client is unsure but never ask any question to clarify. He just switch off already. In the past, I would have, just suffer it. I mean, it's like, or just walk away defeated lah. But eventually, it happened for a reason. And when I really go and look deeper into it, I'm able to figure out what happened, and I'm able to return back to that same client within the same year and still close the case. So yeah, I don't think I could have accelerated that process in any way. I don't know if I answer your question.
Good. So, and I have to agree with Ben on this, right? I mean, whether are you, I mean, obviously Dion, your manager now, and even for some of us as advisors, sometimes we really ask ourselves like, what's our purpose? Like how can we be sure why this is what we want to do and make us motivated every day. The truth is you can't find it out just like that. The more honest answer or reality is that you have to go through things, you have to go through experiences, to find out things that you don't want, right? And some of these experiences would shape you to who you are today, right? And allow you to have a better idea of like what you really want to do as well, right? I think most of us, and I interviewed quite a few advisors, right? I can tell you that most advisors when they first join don't really have a lot of purpose. One, their main purpose is just to earn money, hit MDRT, buy a car, and all that stuff, right? I mean, if you're married, you have kids and all that stuff, of course, your other purpose, of course, is for your family and for your kids, right? But it's only after a few years, of doing the same thing over and over again, going through different experiences, maybe claims, accidents, etc., then you start to realize that, hey, you know what? Your beliefs change, right? Where you feel like now you are no longer here just only for the money, but also for things beyond just material possessions, right? Where you really kind of find out, wow, this is who I want to be, to really serve better, to be a better version of myself. And all this comes with time. All this comes with time. I mean, when I first joined the industry, 500,000, I earned $500,000 in 2 years. That's a lot of money at 23, 24 years old. All I ever thought of was just to be the number one agency, either financial consultant, the youngest MDRT, manager, and all their stuff, yeah, right. So over here, right, all I did was also to just spend money. So I bought my Audi and all their stuff. Yeah, that was the kind of like things I am, right? $1,000 suits and all that stuff. So, but it's only over time where even like right now, we don't earn as much, like as lucrative and all that stuff, but there's a lot more fulfillment, right? So I guess hopefully, Dion, this is a better idea for you. That something just can't be rushed. And if it's for your guys, I think the best is really to sit down with them and ask them, what really makes them really happy, and are the things that they're doing right now aligned to their goals and values, right? Because if these are things that are again intangible, and things beyond just money. Okay, so guys, we need to end off, okay, because I think Ben needs to go. Okay, he's in the bar and all that stuff, right? And I have appointment to go for next few minutes. Okay, so wow, I hope you guys had value over here, and I think to wrap it all up, right, I think more importantly, like I mentioned, today's call is or interview is not so much about like, hey, exactly about strategies and all that stuff, but one of the things when we talk about zero to hero kind of episode is really to find out like what are the challenges and things that are beyond just social media strategies or like sales and all that stuff. Because if you want all those, there's a lot of gurus out there that are doing that. Feel free to watch them. We want to talk about things that are really real, things that people don't usually talk about. right? So hope you guys had value, and you guys had all these takeaways and all that stuff. Okay, and that will conclude our interview and our session for tonight. Okay, hope you guys have value, right? If not, thank you, Ben, for this session as well. I think a lot of us have learned a lot, especially with Dion, EC, they're asking good questions and all that stuff. Okay, so thanks for your time again, and thank you all for turning up. Hope you guys had value, and I'll see you guys soon. Yeah. Okay. Bye bye.